Hey guys, my name is Amit and welcome to this channel. In this video, we'll try to ask the question, what exactly the Vagrant is, what are the key features of it, and why should I go for it, how does it work, and whether it will suit my current environment needs or not. So let's get ourselves introduced to the Vagrant. What is a Vagrant? Let's understand this question here. A Vagrant is an open source tool for building and managing virtualized development environment. Now, when we are talking about virtualized development environment, it consists of multiple machines which are already configured and you want them connect to each other. You want them to communicate with each other. This is a cumbersome process to design and maybe install all of the applications needed to do that, which is why Vagrant will come to make your life a little bit easier. How? We'll see that in a minute. It provides a simple, consistent workflow for the developers to create and provisioning lightweight, reproducible, and portable virtual environments. Again, there are three keywords here we are using. Lightweight. Lightweight means you do not have to install everything. You just install those points or those applications which are needed to make it lightweight, work faster, give you the better performance. You also can say it is reproducible. Means you write that script only once, which is known as a Vagrant file, and you can use it for building same environment multiple times. You can reproduce that environment multiple times on multiple platforms. That's a reproducible. And it's also portable. When I say portable, that means when I do that on Mac, I can share the Vagrant file with the people who are learning Linux and Windows also. So this is portable system as well. Okay. It was first started as a personal side project by Michelle Hashimoto in January 2010. So it is 24 now. It's been more than a decade here. So it's very mature and people love using it because it can solve many problems matter of minutes. That's the reason. In November 2012, Michelle formed an organization called the HashiCorp to support the full-time development of Vagrant. And today this company has grown to, you can say, multi-million dollars. This company has got multiple products under their belt. One of them is like Terraform. What we are going to do here in Vagrant, like setting up the virtual environment of a local machine, we can do the same on cloud by using the another tool called as Terraform. So HashiCorp company has got multiple. Console is another one. Vault is another application given by HashiCorp. So HashiCorp is now a big brand today. Vagrant was originally tied to the VirtualBox. So when it came to existence, by default, maybe Hashimoto has created it to create the virtual machines only with the VirtualBox. But later, starting from version 1.1, they have added a support for other virtualization softwares like VMware or QEMU or KVM or libvirt, so on and so forth. Okay, so in short, Vagrant is an open source tool for building and managing your environment. Maybe you can say local environment. Okay, so how does it work? It's very simple. Vagrant is a tool for building and managing the virtual machine environments in a single workflow. That single workflow can be implemented by using something called as a Vagrant file. So precisely, you are going to create a file called as a Vagrant file and you put all the configuration here. Whatever that you want to use to develop the entire infrastructure or the entire environment, you put the configuration inside the Vagrant file, single workflow. And then you can ask Vagrant to read that file and rest of the things will be taken care by Vagrant. It lets to manage our development environment workflow from the golden image called as a box. In the next session, we'll talk about what box means. But at the moment, a box is something which has the operating system, the disk, the CPU, the RAM. In short, this is the virtual machine which will get instantiated multiple times by Vagrant. Okay. Then it goes to hypervisor that's provisioning the machine over the configuration management system, which is used for setting up the guest host. In a short, in particular this statement, we are talking about something called a hypervisor here. Hypervisor is the virtual machine manager tool, like for example VirtualBox or for example VMware or for example QEMU. All of them are the hypervisors. So that hypervisor will do the actual job. Vagrant will just guide that hypervisor to get the virtual machine created in a certain way by using something called as a box. Okay. Additionally, these environments created by writing a single work file known as a Vagrant file can be shared with others and get the same infrastructure, same environment created in matter of minutes on other machines too. This is how it works. Say for example, you want to start creating your virtual machine by using Vagrant. So you start writing this configuration file known as Vagrant file. So this is my Vagrant file. This file we will write by hand using a syntax provided by Ruby language. So you use this Vagrant file and then you pass it to the Vagrant tool. So this is the Vagrant tool, the command, or you can say the tool that we'll be using to read that configuration written inside the Vagrant file. Now what does it do? It contacts to one of the providers. I'll call this as a hypervisor right now. Later, in terms of Vagrant, we'll call them as something called as providers. So there are many hypervisors out there. One of them, for example, which is the VMware. You can also use VirtualBox, QEMU, or something like a KVM. Choice is yours. I'll be using VMware. So in this case, VMware becomes my hypervisor, or it becomes my provider. So the Vagrant will connect to the hypervisor that you have selected, and then it uses the box which is configured inside the Vagrant file. So consider this as my golden image called as a box. This box has everything the VMware, or you can say the selected hypervisor, requires to create the virtual machine. So the hypervisor here reads the box and gets everything needs to be created in the virtual machine. Okay, so what does it contain? It contains multiple things. For example, it contains the CPU configuration, or the memory configuration, or you can say the disk configuration, or the operating system configuration, or required applications, so on and so forth. As you can see here, this is the actual virtual machine which will get instantiated by the hypervisor, and that's the reason why it is called as a golden image. So golden image means it will be replicated multiple times to create your virtual machine there, again in matters of minutes. Okay, so this VMware reading the configurations or reading the entire box will instantiate a virtual machine for you. So in short, this is going to happen. This is your virtual machine that you are looking for. So this is my virtual machine. Looking at this diagram, do you understand? The Vagrant is not creating this virtual machine. Vagrant is asking hypervisor like VMware to read the box and create the virtual machine for me. So in short, if I look at the big picture, Vagrant is controlling the creation, or you can say the maintenance of that VM, but Vagrant itself is not doing it. So in short, again, Vagrant is going to take the help from one of the selected hypervisors, and that hypervisor do the rest of the jobs. But how hypervisor will find what to add in the virtual machine, which CPU, which operating system, which disk, so on and so forth. So hypervisor will find all this information from the box, which, as I said last time, is known as a golden image. This is also known as a golden image. So this golden image can be created manually. In another session I'll talk about that, or you can directly download it from the Vagrant cloud. So precisely, if you look at the big picture here, this is what you are going to do. And if you need that golden image can be downloaded from something called as Vagrant cloud. So Vagrant has a system called the Vagrant cloud, where they have provided many such pre-built images where you can just go download them and start creating your virtual machines. So it's that simple, and that's the reason people generally love this. Okay, so from this diagram you can understand how the entire workflow is going to be there when we start using Vagrant. Is that the only tool which can be done or which can be used to do something sort of that? No, there are multiple tools also, but these are the key features of this tool, and that's the reason people love using it. Okay, one of the simplest reasons, or one of the important reasons, is like the simplified workflow. When I say simplified workflow, all you need is one single file. As I mentioned, the file name, this is the Vagrant file. You just define the Vagrant file, and rest of the things will be created by the Vagrant for you. And that is the reason why the workflow is very simple. Vagrant init, you specify the configuration, Vagrant up, boom, you are going to get the virtual machine in matters of minutes. Okay, multi-platform support. Yes, it can support the virtual machine with Linux, virtual machine with Windows also. Another good thing, it is portable. In a sense, if I use this Vagrant machine and create the virtual machine on Mac, I can read this Vagrant file on Linux platform or Windows platform and create the same virtual machine using Vagrant tool. That's the beauty of it. It's very portable in nature. Because as I said, if you look at this diagram, the Vagrant is not doing it. Vagrant is allowing, or Vagrant is taking the help from hypervisor, which is going to do that job. And good thing is, VMware like hypervisors are available in all platforms. So precisely, it's like a Java. If you write a Java code and create a class file, as long as you are having an access to JVM, you can run that code anywhere. So it's like write once and run anywhere. Similarly, you just write this Vagrant file once and you can create the environment on any operating system. It's platform, it supports multiple platforms, so it's portable by default. Another good reason why I love using Vagrant is like provisioning. In a sense, if I know that virtual machine I need requires something like, say, Apache or something like MySQL, or both of them together, and some other applications, I do not have to waste my precious time installing the Apache and MySQL every single time manually. I can write a simple script. I can say this is like the boot.sh. I can put the instructions inside this file and refer this inside my Vagrant file. So when the VM is getting created, at that time the Vagrant file having an access to the boot sh will automatically start executing all the instructions and will create the virtual machine by using or by installing Apache and MySQL right at the time of installation. So when I boot for the first time, I will have Apache and MySQL ready. I don't have to waste any of my time installing all of these tools again manually. And finally, this is another reason why people love using Vagrant, is because this is a simple text file we are talking about, something like a Vagrant file. This can be version controlled, and because it can be version controlled, multiple developers can work on the same Vagrant file and improvise it. So this is my developer one, or this is my DevOps engineer guiding that developer. So probably multiple people can collaborate with each other by using Git like something like version control systems. That's the reason why people love this. Okay, so you understood like what exactly the Vagrant is and what are the key features of it. Now there could be a question that in your mind, where should I use it? What are the different scenarios I should use this? One of the simplest answer here is when you are setting up your development environment. Like for example, if I'm developing, let's say, Mon application, and if I need a machine which has, let's say, Node installed in it or Mongo installed in it, all of the required applications installed in it, I don't want to do it again and again. Neither I want to install natively on my machine. Let's say I'm running Mac and I want to use this Linux subsystem to develop my entire application. So in this case, in matter of minute, I can write a kind of Vagrant file and get this thing sorted out. That's the typical use to set up the development environment. Another one, if you are a tester or if you are testing the applications on multiple platforms, I think having access to multiple virtual machines, you can improve your testing speed as also. At the same time, you can check the application on multiple platforms and see whether it is stable or not. So this can be used in testing and a QA. With collaboration, I can improve that Vagrant file and maybe you can say modify the script to get everything installed in one single go. And finally, this is the major reason why Vagrant is popular. DevOps, DevOps people need to create the environments every now and then. So instead of they wasting their time or wasting their energy to do the same job again and again, they could use this tool and write that script and get this done multiple times. So that could be another typical use of using Vagrant. Okay, so in this session, we'll talk about like how your Vagrant is useful to you, how that Vagrant works by using this particular diagram here, and we also have introduced like what exactly the Vagrant is. It's an open source project, as I mentioned. Okay, in the next session we'll try installing it and start using the different commands to create our development environment. So I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much.